Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Biohacking with Brittany. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. This is a Q&A, and I am really excited and honored to be here doing this with you. If you are new here, this is my podcast where I have, I think, over almost 450 episodes now. I am a women's longevity practitioner. I am a holistic nutritionist, biohacker, content creator, and mom. And I am just happy to be able to bring you content all about longevity and women's health and peptides and all the things like that. So I know there's a bunch of new subscribers here. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I'm excited to do this Q&A episode. This kind of pulls on a few different things. I want to kind of give you some updates on life, where things are going into the fall. Can you believe I'm even saying that? Here we are, middle of August, going into the fall. And I am excited. I'm excited to just chat with you and really be honest and give you life updates. So without further ado, let's dive into it. These are a bunch of questions, things that I have seen come up in my Instagram messages and my emails and with clients and things like that. Before we actually hop in, I do want to mention, this should be one of the questions. So I was banned on TikTok. That happened last week. And I have mixed feelings about it. So first of all, TikTok is something that I started, 5 years ago. Let's say my account was biohacking. Literally, that was it. That was the username that I had. I had about 52,000 followers on there. And last week it got banned, and I sent an appeal, and my appeal did not get approved, and I got banned. And honestly, my mixed feelings are interesting because the average person hearing that might say, "Oh my gosh, aren't you upset? Aren't you angry?" All of those things. But my first thought once it happened was, honestly, I feel relieved. And I think it's very interesting when something like this happens, when maybe you get fired, maybe someone breaks up with you, maybe there's something that happens that's now out of your control. You actually get to decide how you react to it, right? Are you going to be miserable and annoyed with the world because of it? Or are you going to take it as a sign that, hey, this isn't the path that you should be on. It's time for a change. And being banned on TikTok, it was because of my peptide content and being censored in the wellness space. And I had multiple warnings, not even warnings, they would just take down my posts of, violating community guidelines. And I was like, okay, this is interesting because majority of it will stay up on Instagram, which is great. And some of it will come down on YouTube. But we're just seeing so much censorship in general in the wellness space. And I've had content taken down, not just about peptides, peptides, but colloidal silver. I've had things taken off of YouTube for years later. I get notified, oh, this was flagged, your video was taken down. I've had things taken down about microdosing, psilocybin, anything, or vaccines. Oh my gosh, anytime you mention vaccines, anything like that, COVID, things have been taken down. And so I don't feel I'm not annoyed with the decision. And I just feel like I'm honestly a little bit relieved. My 52,000 followers on TikTok came from viral videos from a few years ago of things that were I don't even know what I was talking about. I was talking about cysts and how to get rid of your cysts on your ovaries naturally, which is still relevant to my world today. I used to post about the healing web, which is this crazy diagram that kind of connects all these conspiracy theories and things, which I don't use anymore or talk about anymore. And so the 52,000 really came from a place of a long time ago. And what's so interesting is literally zero of my clients come from TikTok. Of my brand deals come from TikTok. Zero of my income comes from TikTok. And when I'm based in Canada, I don't get paid to post content, right? So if you're in the States, in the US, you get paid to post, meaning for every 1,000 views that you have on TikTok, you'll get whatever it is, $1 or 1 cent or 10 cents or whatever the amount is. So you're getting paid literally to create content. That doesn't happen in Canada. We don't have that creator fund. It's literally only through sponsorships or brand deals or collaborations. So for me, it's not really as big of a deal as maybe someone who is basing their income and their business off of TikTok. I also think that it is a sign that for everything that I just said, my audience and my clients don't live on TikTok. Like, yeah, you might consume content on there, but if we're going to be talking about peptides and how it relates to women's health, and we're talking like in-depth science and health here, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on podcasts, and you're on Substack. And so I do have a Substack, and now I will be actually posting more on it and starting to create more on there. And I'm thinking about what I want to create specifically. And the nice thing about Substack is that there is way less censorship than there is in these other places. So that's my update. All this to say, if you're not on my email newsletter list, please join it. You can go on my website. You can get my free peptide sourcing list and you can sign up that way. That's a great way to join. I literally get like, I don't know, 10 people a day maybe signing up. If you are wanting to be in my ecosystem and not relying on these social media platforms, that is what I suggest that you do. Obviously, continue subscribing to the podcast. And yeah, and then when Substack is like kind of more established, it's at Biohacking Brittany. You can go take a look. I want to post research studies that literally come out that week in relation to peptides, longevity, and women's health. I want to post any trending articles and my opinion on them in relationship to that. So when Forbes will talk about like menopause and longevity for menopause and what women are doing, like I want to be able to talk about that. And that's kind of what I do on my LinkedIn right now. And so I'm just reformatting it, thinking about how I can make it sustainable on Substack. And that is my update. So I also think it's a blessing and a sign from the universe because I realized I was wasting so much time scrolling on TikTok and consuming content throughout my workday, and it was draining my energy. And I'm all about energy. It's really important where we like what we think about, what we focus on, we put energy to. And so, what a waste of my time to be consuming content and not be creating or not be propelling my business forward or my family, right? Okay. So that's my little spiel. I'm sorry if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I'm no longer on there. And I hope TikTok dies. No, I'm kidding. It's all good. And sometimes things happen, right? And speaking of, it was so interesting, and I'm going to dive into this intuition piece here in a second. This all happened last week, okay, within a span of a week. So I start reading Joe Dispenza's work. And anyone who has read Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm going to try and get him on the show. He is next level, out of this world. Like, if you're ready to go deep in your healing, in your intuition, in your energy centers and chakras, and aligning with the universe and being able to connect to something so much bigger than yourself, his work is incredible for that. And he connects it all back to science through neurons and neuroplasticity in the brain and hormones and how everything's linked. And it's incredible. Anyway, I started reading his work and last week, and then it was so interesting getting banned from TikTok. A couple days later, I'm doing one of his meditations. I'm calling in my intention. I know where I'm heading. I know what I want in the next year, fulfilling it with the highest emotions of like gratitude and joy and love and all of these things. And don't I get an email from CBC Radio literally being like, hey, we'd love to interview you. We're doing a show on longevity. I'd love to chat with you and maybe have you as one of the experts on the show. Like, could never have imagined that, right? And that's just incredible. And I really love that because it shows you that when you're open and surrender to whatever highest being or universe or God, whatever you might believe in, and you are constantly manifesting and believing in your healthiest self, your highest self, your best self, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to focus on the how because the universe takes care of the how. You focus on the what, right? What is it that you're calling in? What is it that you're healing? And the universe will come knocking with at your door and show you how. And never would I have been like, oh yeah, I'm going to get from A to B through this CBC radio opportunity. But there it happens, right? So be open. And I'm going to take that and lead that right into the first question that we have of intuition. So this is a big one, and I want to share a lot here with you. So someone sent me a message being like, I noticed you started talking more about intuition, frequency, energy. Why are you bringing this in? And how does this relate to being a biohacker and everything that you do in the longevity space? So yes, this is something that I have been thinking about all year, and I have waxed and waned on and really thought about what women need. I opened up this year with doing masterclasses on like women's intuitive longevity. Why intuitive longevity is the missing piece. And then I took a step back and I thought, okay, let me put women into my program over the summer, my motherhood program that I did. That is a holistic program. Let me open up my practice again to one-on-one clients, which I haven't done for a while. And through these conversations with women, it is now at a point where it is a disservice to you as my audience and clients to not talk about this because it's coming up in my conversations with women. It is not me making things up. It's not me convince you to do something. Like it's literally coming up in the conversations I'm having with women. It is resurfacing again and again. And women are talking about it in different ways. So even yesterday, I had a call with somebody and she was saying how disconnected she feels with her body. And she started crying on our call. Okay. And our call, we booked to talk about peptides, right? And that's kind of how it goes. Women will book a call and be like, oh, I want to hear about peptides. What should I take? And then we like start to unravel. And it's like, oh, actually, you have a lot of other things that we need to elevate. And we can also obviously bring in peptides at the same time. And this woman was talking about how she's disconnected from her body and she hasn't felt connected to her body, maybe even ever, even when doing breath work and meditation. And that is the cue that's like, hey, I'm not only going to say these are the different things that you can do to elevate your health. I want to talk about the inner peace. This comes up again and again and again in so many different ways. It's not just, oh, I don't feel connected to my body. It can be my nervous system feels dysregulated. I feel like I'm in fight or flight all of the time. I'm in survival mode. I have 3 kids. I'm running a business. I'm hit perimenopause. I don't have time for myself. I don't know what's going on. I want these peptides to give me energy and lose weight, but really I am dissatisfied with my life and I need to make a change, right? Like there's so many different ways that this can take form. And so the 5 pillars that I work with in my business are nutrition, peptides, supplements, lifestyle, and biohacks. And all of those are solid, right? Like all of those we bring in and they're powerful and they work. They really do get people results, but they are all work from the outside in. They are inputs that we are giving the body. And what we're missing, and what I'm seeing is missing with my clients and with my community, is this inside out piece. Women actually know what their body needs instead of overriding it. And so the point here is not to become a medical intuitive and completely disregard peptides, lab work, supplements, nutrition. Absolutely not. And I will never, ever do that. There are people who do that in the health space, and I think there's a gap, right? I think they're missing the mark. Your blood work can tell you one thing, but your body can also whisper something else to you. And you were taught, and we're often taught to trust the numbers and maybe not trust our bodies. And so bringing in this intuition piece to my business and just the way I even create content is like, yes, we have these 5 pillars that optimize your body, but the sixth pillar of intuition teaches you how to listen to it. And it's that last piece that I think is actually the true healing comes from that. And I do not think we can actually optimize our health without it. And what's so funny is like if you look at like the big people in this longevity space, like I could throw out any names, like Dr. Mark Hyman or I don't know, Dave Asprey, Ben Greenfield, all of these men, of course, even some of the women in this space, right? How many of them actually talk about this? And that's what I'm kind of confused on because they all have one-on-one clients. So they all are, well, most of them I'm assuming are, they're all dealing with like they're seeing what their patients and clients are saying. And so there has to be this element of there's misalignment in your life. Let's heal and work on that misalignment and bring in everything else for true healing. And it's not woo, right? Like we're not saying, and I'm not saying, disregard all of the hard work that you're doing for your health and go and meditate for 8 hours a day and quit your job. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the interoception is important. It's your body's ability to sense its own internal state. And this is not just, hey, how am I feeling where I'm misaligned? It's also hunger, fullness, fatigue, tension, breath, heart rhythm, achiness, pain, becoming in tune with your body. Where does it hurt? Why does it hurt? When does it hurt? You're stressed. Okay, you're feeling your heart racing. What triggers that? Is it the coffee or is it the job that you're going to every single day that you are pushing through because you earn a lot of money, but you really don't like it? Right? There is that part to it. And then there's obviously the nervous system regulation. And this is a part of what I was already saying of women are so constantly in fight or flight and busy, busy, busy. And how can we expect to heal and get the results that we want when we're in that state? So this is the part of the science that the industry skips that I see a lot. And I'm not asking you to abandon your data, showing you the other half of it that most people and practitioners leave out. This is the bridge to deeper work, stillness meditation, the Dispenza piece for sure, or anyone else who you like who's in that lane. I think this is most important for women. I mean, it is for men too, but women are very high achievers. We do not have a willpower problem. And we are experts at overriding our body signals on behalf of other people, on behalf of priorities that we might have. So we can push through hunger and exhaustion and stress and do it to be people pleasers. And then add the cycle reality, right? Like if you have your menstrual cycle, hormones that shift week to week, and women have been handed static male protocols their entire lives. This pillar is where women come to focus on their bodies again and come home to their bodies and learn to trust it again. And no peptides can do this, by the way. There is not a peptide to activate your intuition. That would be funny if there was. That is not how it works. There are peptides that can reduce your stress and make it easier for you to tap in. Sure. But there's no peptide that's going to help you leave the relationship that you're in. Or there's no peptide that's going to teach you how to listen to your body and feel safe in your body. So there's some things that you can do here. And this is where the one-on-one work really matters with clients. If you want to work together or if we already are and you're listening, there are things that you can do. And they're not all meditation, by the way. Like morning stillness before your phone. This is what I'm trying to do now, like lying in bed for 5 minutes, picturing the day that I want to have, picturing the woman that I want to be with the highest intent, with the highest frequencies, the highest emotions, positivity, right? Huge. Breath work. This is huge as well. 6 breaths, hold 6, release for 6. You can do 5, 5, 5. Anything like that can really help regulate the nervous system. Your wearables are really helpful as well here, like looking at your HRV. And you could obviously assess your sleep as well. But also, what I try to do is when I wake up, before I look at my sleep and before I look at my stress on my aura ring, I think, okay, how was my sleep last night? How do I feel right now? Oh, I feel great. I feel refreshed. Okay, I got 8 hours. Okay, let me look at the scores and see what it says. HRV, how stressed was I yesterday? And how does my stress feel today? Okay, I actually feel pretty good. Let's look at the HRV, right? And starting to tune into your body before you look at the data. And then seeing, okay, do the numbers line up? So, for everyone listening, this is interesting because I am pulling this sixth pillar into the way that I work with women. I'm going to try, I'm rebranding or I'm building my new website for September. And this will be a part of the work that I do with women one on one from now on. And I say from now on, but the reality is it's already happening. It's just not on my website. It's just not public as much. So that is coming, and I'm changing the way that I work with women. Right now, I work with women. You can book a free 15-minute call with me. I literally do like 5 a day, and you are welcome to do that. I would love to chat with you and see where you are with your health. And right now, I do an initial consultation and a follow up consultation with a full protocol and unlimited email support. That is being changed. And so, if you want I'm calling it my inner circle. If you want my inner circle offer right now, it's literally only for the people who book discovery calls and who sign up before September. Because once it goes public, it's no longer an inner circle offer, right? It is the new offer. And this is actually going to be a 3-month program. And it's a one on one program. I'm not doing group coaching, absolutely not. And I think there is a place for group coaching, but right now, what the discussions I'm having with women are so deep and intimate and detailed on their health that this is a one on one program. And the way that I'm structuring it is there will be 3 calls, 3 consultations with me. There will be a full protocol, unlimited email support, unlimited data review and lab review. So, say you get your labs done in month 2 and you send them to me, or you download your Aura Ring data and you send it to me. We all add all of that into your protocol, and I will update your protocol as we go. The protocol includes peptides, of course, how much to take, when to take them, how to reconstitute them, how to adjust your dosages based on how you're feeling, where to get them from, everything like that. Nutrition, all my nutritional recommendations and some recipes, supplements, what to order, where to get them from, especially based on your labs. Lifestyle is sleep, stress, exercise, recommendations around that and what I think you should be doing. And then what am I missing? Biohacks. So things like wearables, sauna, going to sauna places like Othership if you have access to Othership, things like that. And then the last one is the intuition piece. And with the intuition piece, there's can be all sorts of recommendations. It depends where you are in your journey, but things like meditation, breath work, stillness, time off, certain books that I think will be amazing for you and change the direction, sound bath playlists, music that I like, any type of PEMF could even be in here, healing modalities, chakra work, and yeah, things like that. And so that is your full protocol. And I'm changing it because I really noticed that, especially with peptides, you need at least 2 to 3 months to see a difference. Most peptides, some peptides you can notice in a couple of weeks, but a lot of them you need that time to be able to see a difference. And so it doesn't make sense for me to just be like, hey, here's one consultation, here's a protocol, see you later. I can do that, but the most bang for your buck and the best way you're going to get results and heal and actually become the woman that you want to be is through a 3-month, 12-week period. It just is. We need time to see how your body reacts to peptides, how your body reacts to the supplements, how you react to reading new books and trying new meditations and trying new exercise and looking at your labs. Like, it takes time, right? And really, something to consider and think about here is how you feel right now listening to this, how you feel, what you look like, whatever it is, wherever you're at right now in your journey, it didn't happen overnight that got you to where you are right now. So therefore, your healing cannot be overnight either, right? I'm not saying it's hard. I'm not saying it's going to take years because I do think we can collapse timelines and I think anything is possible and people heal and become healthier all the time in different ways. And so it's just being open to, hey, I'm going to commit to myself. I'm going to commit to 3 months. Now it's either now or never. My symptoms, my signs, whatever it is, are only going to get worse as I'm getting older. So I need to be proactive and do something now. So that is why I'm switching from just the current way to the 3 month way. And if you're listening to this, and for everyone who is doing the discovery calls right now, the Inner Circle offer is discounted because I'm just doing that privately. And then once it goes public in September, it will be more. And so if you want to sign up, let me know. You can book a discovery call. Literally, it's free, 15 minutes. And then afterwards, I'll email you what we talked about and we can book you in. Everything is private right now. This is not on my website. Like it's only through emails. It's literally only through emails. And so once September comes, this is closing. Okay. Next question. Top 3 things to do for longevity as women. I love this question. And speaking of, I'm going to have my water with my electrolytes. The electrolytes right now I'm using are brand new. They are from Bioptimizers. You can use my discount code biohackingbrittany. I'm actually very impressed with these, by the way. They are ratio aware of the different minerals and trace minerals in them. That means that it's not just like sodium and a little bit of potassium. It's like actually very research based. And they are sweetened with monk fruit. And there's no artificial sweeteners. There's no added sugar. And yeah, they're great. Like it took them 3 years to come out with this product. And I'm very, very impressed with it. So if you're looking for a new electrolyte to try, please stop using Element. If you're still using Element, you don't want to be using Element. They have so much added artificial sugars in there and sweeteners, and it spikes your blood sugar. People have done posts on it. So Element is a no-go. Try electrolytes, and you can use my discount code biohackingbrittany. I'll link it in the show notes for you so that you have it. So in terms of 3 longevity things that you can do right now as a woman, it's actually a lot. But I love this question because it kind of like breaks it down and makes it a bit more simple. My first recommendation would be to build and protect your muscle. I actually have a post coming out about this, but muscle is the longevity organ for women, especially heading into perimenopause. If you're listening to this and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're postmenopausal, you need to be building and protecting your muscle. Actually, if you go to my Instagram right now, I posted this week an image and it shows what your muscle looks like when you lift weights and what it looks like when you don't over every single decade from 30s to 70s. And it shows you the tissue on the inside and what it means for women. Okay, so go check that out if you want a visual. It protects your metabolism, your bones, your blood sugar, and your independence as you age. And I really want to reiterate that is often women become frail as you get older and you rely on people to take care of you and you fall down the stairs and you break your hip and then you're in a wheelchair, you have a cane, whatever it might be. That can happen a lot. And so we really want to be thoughtful here that this does not happen to you. Then the way that you can protect those bones and your joints is through building muscle. Lift heavy at least 3 times a week. Eat enough protein to actually support it. Most women are under eating protein and under lifting. Like I want you lifting heavy. Like right now, so I track that just in case you want it. Again, I'll link it in the show notes. I'm using the app Booty by Brett. It's literally called that. Hilarious. But it's actually great. And it's a glute leg focused workout plan, but it does have full body in there as well. And that's really important because I just didn't want to just do legs. And it tracks. So you put in your weight like Okay, I squatted 100 pounds. Next week, 105. And you're able to actually track and see what you're doing. Every week, by the way, every week you should be increasing your weight or you should be increasing your reps. So if you are doing a bicep curl and you're doing 15 pounds and you're doing 8 reps, 3 sets of 8 reps, next week you should be doing 3 sets of 10 reps. And once you hit 10 reps and you're like, I'm not as tired anymore, time to increase your weight. So then you could go to 20 pounds and you could do 2 reps, 3 reps. Then the next week you're doing 6 reps. You should be doing progressive overload. Okay. It's so, so important. Do not be scared of the heavy weights. Society has trained us to grab the 2-pound weights that are pink. That's garbage. Throw that idea out. You can lift a 20-pound weight. Do not be afraid. You can do it. You've got this. It's the only way you're going to build muscle, by the way. It's a little bit of a disillusion to think that you can build more muscle and be more toned and be able to lift more by lifting the same weights. So yeah, you need to be increasing your weights, increasing your reps, pushing yourself, pushing yourself. Hear me. Listen to my voice when you're at the gym. Just, okay. Regulating your nervous system would be the next thing. And so, kind of like I talked about, is you cannot biohack your way out of a chronically stressed, underslept body. It ages you faster than anything. For women, this is even bigger. Stress hormones and sex hormones are deeply linked. When your cortisol is up, everything else struggles. So, I want you to protect your sleep. I want you to focus on nervous system down regulation and think about this intuition pillar that we've been talking about. What is triggering you when I talk about that? What does the little voice in your head say when I say, are you listening to your body lately? What are you ignoring? What are you overriding? And so, to be so honest with you, you're not going to fully get the results you want until you acknowledge that. Okay? It's really, really important. And the last part is there's so many things I can add in here, but there is the metabolic piece that I would look at. Stable blood sugar and healthy hormones are very, very important for aging well and longevity. Stable blood sugar, especially because this actually triggers our hormonal cascade, even relates to our stress, our sleep, everything. Eat for stable energy. Honor your cycle instead of fighting it, and actually test rather than guess. So get your numbers tested, get your lab work done. If you're in Canada, you can do SciFox or Naya Health. Those are my go-to. I have links for both of them. I'll put them in the show notes. If you're in the States, you can do Function Health. I'm trying to partner with them, but they are taking a while to get back to me. But Function Health is amazing as well. Okay, next question, the NAD spray that I'm using. So you mentioned an NAD nasal spray that you love. Which one is it and why? So I am using a new one. This is from Ageless RX, and I will put this in the show notes. I do have a discount code with Ageless RX, and it's biohacking Brittany in all capitals. So NAD plus is a coenzyme your body uses for cellular energy. It is not a peptide, and your levels naturally decline as you age. And what I notice with NAD plus when I take it is a increase in my energy for sure. The nasal route is clever. It bypasses your digestive system, absorbs through the nasal lining, and so it can actually reach the brain and bloodstream faster than any oral supplement. And for a lot of women, it is a much more gentle entry point than taking it as a peptide, like not a peptide, taking it as a injection. It supports mental clarity, focus, brain energy, brain fog. If you have any type of brain fog, this is for you, and really, really does make a difference. So I love it. The Ageless RX one is incredible. 89% of users report benefits by their second check-in, and mostly around focus and energy. And that's exactly what I do. I take it right before I work. So 1 to 2 sprays in each nostril per day. And yeah, it is great. So definitely check that out. And I will link that for you. And then the last question, oh, two more questions. Okay, so the last question about this is a peptide question. So, is there any GHK-Cu cream you recommend and why? Another product recommendation. Yes. So, to be honest, it took me a long time to find one that I actually like. I think a lot of the peptide creams and serums are garbage. There isn't a lot in there, and it's not really worth your money, to be honest. So the one that I'm currently using and I like is actually also by Ageless RX. And so they have a GHK-Cu 3% copper peptide cream. It is great for increasing your GHK-Cu levels, which is the copper peptide that declines with age. Helps with skin. If you take this through injection, it also helps with hair and nails. But for the cream, obviously, it's just for your skin. The 3% is the higher strength option, which I went for. And I just want to have something more potent. I also use it on my C-section scar to help heal that and help that fade over time. It signals your skin cells to repair and remodel, and it supports collagen and elastin. It firms, softens fine lines, smooths texture, calms inflammation, and it's great. I think if you're into peptides, I would add this in for sure. You can take GHK-Cu as a injectable peptide and a cream at the same time. Don't worry about overdosing in this way. They work through different mechanisms, and when you put it in your skin, it's not as systemic, so you don't need to worry about overdosing or anything like that. I use it at nighttime. You don't want to use it with vitamin A like a retinol, and you don't want to use it with vitamin C either. So, if you're looking for firmer skin, resilient skin, you're just looking to try something new in your skincare routine, this is what I would use. I have a discount with Ageless RX. Again, I will link that for you. It's biohacking Brittany, and definitely, yeah, I really suggest trying this one. I am happy with it so far. Okay, last question. What have I planned for the fall? Are you doing any more retreats? Oh, this question. So, I, yeah, where am I at with this? I would love to do another women's retreat. I did one in March in Costa Rica, and it was great. There were, I think, 7 of us, and it was beautiful. One of the best weeks of my life. It took so much to plan that and execute that. And I don't know if right now is the right time for me to do something like that again. However, I will definitely do them in the future, probably just not right now. I am thinking about doing 1 day events. So I have a couple of ideas floating around, and I'm going to kind of see what transpires, and still very much in the what would I want to do phase of this and what I would like. I'm thinking about it. But I would love to do something maybe in Toronto or in Muskoka and do a 1 day event focused on women's holistic health. And we would do, I mean, I could even bring in multiple practitioners. That actually would be very cool. I would love to do something like I would do a couple of keynote like speeches or presentations, let's say, and then we could do different meditations. We could do maybe a hot cold therapy circuit, I think would be beautiful, and probably a cacao ceremony as well. Like something like that where it's holistic, right? We're bringing in multiple different modalities. It's a 1 day ticket event. You have your intention for the day, and by the end of the day, you have clarity. That is kind of what I'm envisioning when I think about something like that. I do know a lot of people in the space here in Toronto and Muskoka, and I probably could organize something like that. So I might do something like that in the fall, a 1 day event. If you want to come, send me a message and maybe I'll do it then. Maybe if I get enough feedback, I'll do it. So that is, yeah, something I'm doing. I am, yeah, what else for the fall? I want to redo my website and my branding, and maybe not my branding exactly, but my one-on-one program for women. I think that's really important. I might do another women's peptide free masterclass as well. I'm not sure yet, but that could be something that would be coming. And that's kind of it. I might go on a retreat myself and take time to do the inner work. because I think that's also really important. And that's kind of all that's on my radar right now. I have a toddler, I have a full business that I run every single day, and that's a lot. So I don't want to do too much, obviously, but I do want to, yeah, I'm very open to seeing what comes through right now. If you take one thing from today, let it be this: all the data and the peptides and all the protocols, they are here to help you. I am here to help you, but they do not replace your own inner knowing. So you build the stack and then you trust yourself to use it and guide yourself through it. If this episode resonated, the most helpful thing you can do is share it with a woman who needs to hear it and leave a quick rating. Every single review and 5-star rating makes a really big difference. And again, please sign up for my email list if you want to stay in my community. There's so much censorship everywhere, and so it's really important to be around and be involved and have access to the people that you resonate with, right? I also have a private community. It's called The Longer Life. You can join that, and I do group calls in there. All my peptide suite is in there, my fertility suite, all the content, deep dive, research, information, and everything like that is in there if you are looking for that as well. Okay, everything I talked about will be linked in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you next week for another episode.